Assalamualaikum again, and we meet for the third part of this of week 2 lecture, and we're going to look at how to gather materials in order for us to develop or to come up with a good speech. Okay, before we begin or before we move on or we go further, basically when you want to write a topic, when you want to write a speech. Basically, we will write the speech or the draft of the speech based on what we know and based on what we have experienced before. Knowledge and experiences are very essential for a person to develop his or her speech. We always begin with that. For example, I always ask myself what I'm good at. Oh, I'm good at English. Maybe I can talk about how to learn English effectively since I'm good at it. So this is basically my interest, perhaps based on my experience, also based on my knowledge because I have gone through a series of learning sessions of English, so on and so forth. So using your knowledge and your experience normally will be the basis in order for you to develop or in order for you to structure your speech. Other than that, you can also do some library research. You can go to the library to look at all sort of materials available in the library, like books, magazines, journals, newspapers, articles, so on and so forth. And these sources are very helpful in order to help you to develop a good and effective speech. Trust me. Even you can ask the help of the librarians to help you out to find the right materials or sources for your speech. Other than that, I always advise my students to search your information via the internet. Trust me, the internet holds abundance of knowledge and information on almost everything. Just Google it. Even the word Google has become verb, you know. Just Google for any topic or any materials. As you all know, for your informative speech and for your persuasive speech, you are required to find materials to support your speech other than using your knowledge and your experience. Now, you may want to ask the question why. I'll explain on that later. Now, when you search information or materials from the internet, there are a few things that you may want to look into so that you will have so that you will have rather credible and valid materials or sources to support your speech. The first one is to look at the authorship. Ask yourself, who is the author? If you're not really sure who the author is, I guess that article is less credible. In fact, if you don't know when it was published, that sounds less credible. Sponsorship means that where did the author come from? A university, an expert in an organization, perhaps a talk person from this NGO, so on and so forth. Recency tells you that whether that article was published recently or 20 years ago. Well, if you ask me personally, a good speech will always be supported by recent and current resources or materials. However, there are exceptions. If let's say your articles is about uh, theories, frameworks, concepts, models that was published many moons ago in 1950s, 40s. Yes, you can use those articles because you would like to emphasize on the use of the frameworks, models, theories, etc. You can also conduct an interview in order for you to gain more information or in order for you to find information to support your speech. These are some of the procedures that you can actually apply in conducting an interview. Now, remember when I talked to you why it is important for you to gather your materials for your speech other than developing your speech based on your knowledge and experience. Because when you deliver a speech and the speech is supported by sources or reliable sources and materials, your speech will look and will sound more convincing. Trust me,